You only need 1,000 Quant and 10,000 Hbar. And there's a huge reason why these two coins are probably the top pick in my portfolio right now, and why I'm loading up with more of these cryptos every single day while those prices are this low. If you want to find out exactly why that is, hit the like button. Let's get on with this video. Now guys, if you've been subscribed, which you absolutely should be, you'll see that I've been using this in the past, and this is the way that money flows into a market. Not every crypto erupts at the same time, okay? Bitcoin, XLM, Hbar, Quant, whatever it is, will all move at slightly different times, and there's a big reason for that. Big money will flow into the market first through the likes of Bitcoin, through the likes of Ethereum, the major players, and then it will start to trickle into the other major altcoins. I'm talking the Cardanos, Hbars, XLMs, XRPs, etc. Okay, so what we will see is a phase 3, phase 2, phase 3. I actually believe that right now we're already in a phase 1. Phase 2, you would probably move Ethereum into the kind of phase 1 area because it's started to become the same sort of level as Bitcoin. Okay, so what I then see is the larger caps moving into this area, and people will be telling you things slightly different from what I'm about to tell you. Now, while I do look at other coins on this channel, obviously, and I do tell you right now certain coins that you should be paying attention to, Hbar, along with Quant, fulfill a certain criteria that many others out there don't. There's a lot of large caps that have phenomenal potential, but specifically, what is it about Hbar and Quant that I really like? But they're both fairly unique in that they both don't really have obvious competitors. Hbar has been rising up in the number of transactions and has been onboarding way more people into its ecosystem than any other blockchain out there, any other layer 1 out there. And Hbar has something that many others out there don't. Quant also does have a similar thing, and it's this. These are all organizations that are linked in a governing council to Hbar. And these names, Boeing, Aerospace, DBS, Banking, Deutsche Telekom, Telecommunications, IBM, Google, IT, EDF, Energy, they have literally fingers in every pie out there. And this is what is going to drive this project forward in the next bull market. And this is why I see the likes of Hbar moving more quickly than others out there. While I think that there's potentially others in the large cap environment that might see growth beyond Hbar, it's because I think Hbar is going to move first, that this is where I'm looking. And the same goes for Quant. If I look into Quant, I see very similar things. Quant does stuff that pretty much nothing out there does in the same way. We're starting to move towards all this regulation and things like that. Whether it's going to have a huge effect, well, I made a video earlier on what I really think is going on behind the scenes with all of this regulation. Quant is going to be building CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. These will be what many governments around the world will be using, and Quant will be the one who's pretty much building them. Whether we're talking for the Bank of England, whether we're talking for the United States, whether we're talking for Europe, the EU, the Euro, who knows, guys. Quant, however, sits in a phenomenal position. Both pretty technical projects, but both Hbar and Quant have the foundations to be the top of their game. They don't really have much in terms of direct competition, which is very key. They have huge amounts of they're already hugely well invested in, so they have good amounts of funding behind them. They have a huge network across a variety of different industries, and they are associated with some of the biggest companies in the world. So therefore, these are two projects that I think are going to have phenomenal bull market. And what is most key is that I do believe they're going to peak way earlier than many other cryptocurrencies out there. So why I say that you only need 100 Quant and you only need 10,000 Hbar is because of this. If I look at Hbar over here on CoinMarketCap, and I take a look at the market cap of Hbar at the top, 6.49 billion, I do anticipate that this is going to be easily a 4x on this into the next bull market. Something around 25 billion I think is reasonable for Hbar. And right now, we're sat at around 1.55 billion. So you could anticipate that a 25x is more than likely for Hbar going into the future. Now, something we do have to be a little bit concerned about is this fully diluted market cap, okay? There is obviously going to be more coins floating into Hbar all the time, and this has been partly responsible for this downturn many people have been talking about. But ultimately, this number is getting smaller, this number is getting bigger. This is good news, okay? Obviously, 63% circulating supply is not ideal, but I'm willing to overlook that when you look at all the other things going on with Hbar. When we look into Quant, slightly different. The token price is much more expensive, $116, and the market cap sits at $1.4 billion, fully diluted 1.7. So you can see that the circulating supply is already pretty high at 81%. That's a very positive thing for Quant, something that Quant has perhaps over Hbar. And it's also worth noting that there is only a very limited number of tokens here, currently 12 million, of a total of 14 million that will be ever released. This is very interesting, okay? Because soon, once all those tokens are released, there's not going to be any more inflation for Quant, which is very, very positive. Same for Hbar. Eventually, all of those tokens will be released. The sooner that happens, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And with this market cap for Quant around 1.4 billion, I can anticipate easily a Quant heading towards $30 billion or more in the next bull market. And if we look at all-time highs for Quant, you're looking at a $4.6 billion market cap. And with the current market cap at 1.4, again, I anticipate a move towards $20 to $30 billion being potentially possible for Quant. It's sat in an excellent space. It's literally not got any other competition. You might be saying ICP, slightly different, but you know, we'll see. And for those of you who are sat here right now being like, oh, 20x, 30x, that's nothing. I can get that in Gala any day of the week. I can get that in whatever other coin, Jasmy. Fair enough, guys, you probably can. But there's something really, really important about these projects over the likes of Gala and whatever else. I do believe that you probably are going to see a better return, dollar for dollar, if you were to just put it into Hbar and Quant and hold for the next 2 years, as opposed to putting it into, let's say, Sand or Mana Decentraland or any of these kind of slightly smaller cap coins that I think are going to rally significantly harder. But there's something really important. I believe that Hbar is going to move much earlier than other cryptos. And that is very important because what I'm going to be looking at is moving my money around. Because if Hbar gets to move first, and we see, let's say Hbar has a pump all the way back to all-time highs, and it does a 5x. If I'm putting in like $1,000 to $2,000 into Hbar right now, and obviously if you don't have that much, 100, 200, and that's not financial advice. I'm not telling you to do this. Obviously make your own decisions. I will be buying more Hbar. I have been buying Hbar at these levels. And I'm going to be putting it all in my portfolio, which I'll keep up to date. And what's very key is today I'm going to start this. I'm going to put $1,000 into a portfolio and I'm going to invest that $1,000 with full transparency into the inner circle, which is a Discord, guys, along with all the technical analysis, the private group chats and stuff. I'm going to automatically feed that portfolio into the Discord so you can see with full transparency exactly what I'm buying. I'm going to take $1,000. I'm going to invest it in around 10 to 20 different projects, and I will be moving it all the time. So if you just want to follow along with what I'm doing over there, then you just need to go through the link down below, guys, to the inner circle. And there for just $9.99 per month, you can follow exactly what I'm trading all the time with a 5-day free trial. Or if you want to save, you can get $100 for the year, and that will save you 20%. Now, the plan is, guys, if I've got $1,000 for Hbar, and Hbar does a 5x. Well, halfway up, let's say it's done a 2.5x at this point. So I've got $2,500 sat there. Now, what I can start to do at each level is to take off some money, okay? Because it's moving before others, I can maybe strip off, let's say, $500 or maybe even a little bit more. And I leave money in Hbar. I do believe if Hbar is going to continue, I'm leaving money in. So if it's done $2,500 here, I'll take off 500. My $2,000 will then continue up here, and then I'll make another 60, 70%. And each time it's making me good money, I'm going to be removing money from Hbar because Hbar is moving quicker. And whatever it does, if Hbar is moving first, I want to take money off the table. And what am I going to do with that money? Well, guys, you need to take things from stuff that is high value and put it into stuff that is low value. And what I mean is stuff that is overvalued and move it to undervalued. There's a big reason for this, right? If, for example, I take $1,000, let's just say $500 out of Hbar down here, then I can move it into a project that is currently just sort of flatlining and ready to pump. So let's just say, for example, we're talking Jasmy. Jasmy, in the same time that Hbar has done 2.5x, might have only done a 20% move. So what I can do is I can take $250 and put it into Jasmy, and maybe another $250 and put it into Medicaid or some other coin out there, Tenet, that's maybe a little bit slower moving because it's newer and it's got a smaller market cap. Those coins could then see like a 10, 20x in the time that Hbar is then sort of slowly moving up towards its target up here. And that's what I'm looking for, guys. I'm taking money from coins that have already seen booms and moving it into others. Hbar and Quant, the exact same on this, because I think they're going to be moving much earlier on, and that's where I see the best opportunity going forward. So looking at whether Hbar is a good buy or not right now, well, guys, I showed you a similar chart earlier in Stellar XLM, right? We pump, we get sideways consolidation, we pump again, shows me my buy zone. Here's a buy zone. Hbar playing around in this buy zone is sitting a little bit underneath, but for me, this is a good price to be buying Hbar at. Happy days, right? Could be buying up here like most people would buy. I was patient, I waited for the price to fall 48%. Now I've got a good price to be buying Hbar at. Quant, again, we actually saw a couple of days ago, I pointed out that we were in this nice buy zone here, where we can see the price rallied out. You can see all my old drawings, which I've just left here. Consolidation, rallies, comes back in, pushes again. Again, we had a nice dip underneath to collect liquidity, then we pushed up. Ideally, I would have been buying Quant down here around $100. We've seen about a 10% push, and if you were subscribed to this channel, you would have been on board with that just a couple of days ago. But things I do think looking pretty good. We've had that drop down along with that Binance news, and now we're starting to rally again with Quant. Quant looking solid. I'm going to be putting money into Quant today. And remember, if you want to stay up to date with that portfolio, then you can do that. What I'll do once I've bought in, guys, is I will identify key areas. Here's one. Add alert, okay? Why is a key area? You can see we had a nice turnaround here. Now from that current price of Quant, you see a 38% move. That red line up there is the next swing high, where you'll see Quant pretty much doubling its value, okay? So what I'll do is I put in $100 here, it goes up to here, maybe I'll take $50 out and put $50 into another coin, leaving $150 in Quant for Quant to move, because Quant, Hbar, will move before the rest of the market. That's the point of this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, get into that inner circle, subscribe, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.